Rebecca Reardon is the Vice President of the New South Wales Farmers. We're speaking with her today, Rebecca. We're picking up on our last conversation in a sense. We were talking about farming land in the state being under threat. We sort of segued to talking about renewable energy projects. You've got more information on this front.
We have. The Ag Commissioner has just released its investigation into renewable energy, and in particular that land use conflict that's actually growing as we wind down our coal-powered stations and we have to go on this renewable path.
And so what is the Commissioner, this is Darryl Quinn-Livin, what's he actually said about what this means or for the future of food production?
Look, he's highlighted what we're hearing from a lot of our members currently is that there is no planning, there's no consultation or very limited, and it's actually leading to land use conflict between agriculture and these renewables. The government is tending to want to mop up afterwards rather than actually do the pre-consultation beforehand and do that investment needed to be able to support investment in renewable agriculture in these areas like these res zones.
The renewable energy zones. I noticed that you've had a number of forums, the New South Wales Farmers. I think there was at Dubbo recently, but I think you heard in Wagga Wagga particularly some acute concerns about renewable energy projects there. Yes,
we've hearing a lot about the transmission lines that are actually happening, say on Hume Link, where it's going through over 400 landholders' places. These transmission lines are 80 metres high, which is the size of Sydney Harbour Bridge pylons, 200 metre corridor. There's a whole lot of restrictions about what you can do in terms of flying around them, which means fighting fires is a huge risk in these areas, and it hasn't been thought out because these are fire-prone areas. And the other thing, it's going straight through people's places and their homes, and I think nobody wants that, whether you're in the city or the country. And yet there is alternatives, and the government hasn't consulted properly on alternatives like putting it underground or these sort of things and planned around it. And people are very upset, and rightly so.
Yeah, and it does seem that there is, if you like, a highway towards renewable energy, but maybe underlying that highway is things like state strategic farming land and indeed bushfire safety.
There's a lot of things. You go to Merriwa, there's a problem there where they haven't thought about the extra traffic that's coming through, so they've put Parramatta Road in the middle of like a local shopping centre and a residential area. All of these sort of things, we need the consultation, we need the planning, and we need them to talk through it and not just mop up the mess afterwards, because we recognise that renewable energy is coming. We've wound down our coal-fired stations so much now, but we have to get that land use conflict right, because this is going on land that produces food and fibre. So that is the sacrifice that we're having to make.
And this Agriculture Commissioner, Darryl Quinn-Livin, I know the New South Wales farmers want either him or that role to have a greater role of independence. What would you see would be some of the stronger powers he could potentially have if he could operate independently of the government?
Look, I think it is really important that he's able to put out his reports and not have to get them vetted in any way. So being independent means he's able to look at something independently in terms of something like this land use conflict and issues in agriculture, and actually be able to say what he's actually found and what the solutions need to be, so that we can actually then have a discussion on what actually needs to happen from an independent point of view.
Well, Rebecca, look, it's a state election in about 20 days' time, about 2.5 weeks. We're going to keep focusing on these important issues for our producers in southern New South Wales. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Ricky.